Jam-packed show tonight. 7 Solskjaer signings is what he wants in place before July the 1st. Is time running out for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer already in relation to the transfer targets that he wants to make? There's lots of things going on as well. Lukaku swap with Perisic. Juan Mata apparently not signing a new contract. He might be going, and that might sadden a few people, but to be honest with you, I'm quite comfortable with that. But I want to just, the debt at Manchester United, I want to talk about Nathan Collins. I want to talk about this 11th hour bid for Julian Brandt that we mixed out on, that is apparently Manchester United did try to sign him, but we're told by Leverkusen he's going to Borussia Dortmund. But let me just say this. I want to just, if you've not seen the video I did at lunchtime about De Ligt, I want to say this. Very interesting, the De Ligt thing. I'm not going to dwell on it too much because I've done the video on it at lunchtime and this morning, but a little bit of additional information in relation to De Ligt to Manchester United. The latest with this is that Barcelona thought they had the deal in the bag. They want more money. They want more money. The agent and De Ligt want more money. Manchester United are willing to offer that money. Barcelona at the moment saying, no, we're not going to offer any more. The interesting thing with this is that De Ligt is apparently being offered £14 million a year by Manchester United, which I think equates to about £250,000 a week. Up to you whether you like that or not. But the point is, if Barcelona to match that bid, that would make him one of, I think Messi and maybe Suarez are the only 2 players in that squad are on more than him. So it would cause massive disharmony for them to sign a 19-year-old centre-back and make him the 3rd best player at Barcelona. So it's a very interesting thing to keep your eye on with De Ligt. Will he choose a challenge and money at Manchester United, or will he just go with his heart potentially and go to Barcelona on less money? Interestingly, but Rabiot's not his agent. Raiola is agent. It'd be interesting to see how that one plays out as well. I will just mention Rabiot as well. Adrien Rabiot is obviously available free from PSG this summer. Manchester United apparently have been offered Rabiot. I mean, I'm not surprised. We pay good wages, don't we? But the thing with Adrien Rabiot is I think he's a very, very good player. He's only in his, I don't think he's even 25 yet. I think he's 23, isn't he? Midfielder, not really played for PSG, but I think a lot of people would have said a year ago he's a really good midfielder. So what's changed? He still is. Maybe there's an attitude problem. We spoke to Adam from Get French Football News the other day, and he said, there is that issue around Rabiot. But the point I want to make about Rabiot is that this signing would not happen until probably around the start of July, because his contract does not end until the end of June. If you remember with Fellaini last year, he didn't sign his new contract with United until around the end of June because he was going to be a free agent at the end of June, and that's the way it will work with Rabiot as well, who is not De Ligt's agent. But let's go back to the headlines. Ollie's magnificent 7. So this has been floating around that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants 7 transfers for Manchester United this summer. The names that are being mentioned: Harry Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, Koulibaly, Daniel James, obviously, Pepe, Idrissa Gueye, and Bruno Fernandes, which makes 7. Bruno Fernandes, Pepe, Idrissa Gueye, James, Koulibaly, Wan-Bissaka and Maguire. Well, straight away you can sort of see that we wouldn't sign all 7 of those anyway, because I don't think we'd sign Maguire and Koulibaly, so it probably comes down to 6. Sancho's interesting. I think with Sancho, look, maybe Manchester United will sign Sancho, maybe they won't do. I think at the moment we just sort of got to put it to bed and just see what happens over the next few weeks. I would like Jadon Sancho to come to Manchester United, but I'm increasingly thinking not, even though I've been told 2 months ago by somebody quite reliable that Manchester United were going to sign him, but a lot changes in 2 months. A lot changes. 2 weeks ago, De Ligt was not realistic for Manchester United. He was mentioned by a lot of you, but he wasn't realistic. Now it gets to the crunch time where he's got to make his mind up, and it's about what offers are on the table. Then who knows? I still think he'll go to Barcelona anyway. So with regards to Solskjaer, I suppose when you look at that, I've always said we're a week away from the start of June, and then we're a month away from July the 1st when everyone comes back for pre-season games. In fact, another pre-season game's just been announced in Norway. I think it's the 30th of July. So we've got a very full July, off to the other side of the world, then going to Norway, and then we come back with a week before the Premier League season. So Manchester United's squad is away for most of July, and traditionally we don't sign players when we're on tour. We don't. Look back on it. We don't sign players when we're on tour. The business is done in June, basically, so we've got June to do this business, and I don't know whether we've got enough time. So whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can sign 6 players or not, I don't know. I would hope that they are lined up, but then you hear things like, and again, take it with a pinch of salt, but Julian Brandt signed for Dortmund yesterday, and you see that in the news today that Manchester United tried an 11th hour bid to sign Julian Brandt. Now, either were really crap, but I'm going to park this with the Wan-Bissaka story that we offered 25 million and not believe it, because why would you ring Bayer Leverkusen up yesterday and say, oh, we're interested in Julian Brandt, and they go, he's just about to sign for Dortmund? I mean, look, you can take the mickey out of Ed Woodward in the way we recruit players, but we could have been monitoring Julian Brandt for a whole season. I don't think we would have missed the boat on that, so I don't think there's anything in it. Maybe we expressed an interest, but if we wanted him, I think we would have been interested way before the 11th hour. So I don't really believe that, but it does really magnify how much business we've got to do. And Benjamin Wawa, very, very good comment. It's on my notes to make it as well when we talk about Nathan Collins. With regards to Daniel James, that deal, I think, is done. I think he will be signing for Manchester United, but obviously very tragic news that his father died. It was announced yesterday. He's pulled out of the Welsh squad. So, look, signing for Manchester United is everybody's dream, but if you lose a parent that you're close to, that's gonna hurt. And I think at the moment, all our thoughts are with him, as they would be with anybody that we're sort of linked to, or is somebody that we've signed, because it's just compassionate to feel like that. And I would imagine at this point in time, signing for Manchester United, as big a step as it is for his career, will be very low when you lose your father. So it could be next week, it could be a couple of weeks, but as many of you would agree with, it's in the hands of how long it's going to take for him to work through that grief, which is obviously not very nice for anybody. So that's the latest with Daniel James. I really do think that with regards to Daniel James, it was going to be signed, probably any time, but I think for the moment it's on the back burner, and nobody can really moan about that. You can't moan about that. You can't have any issues with that. I think it's a signing that we will do. I think it's a signing that we want to do, but for now, we'll just have to wait and see when it gets done, which is absolutely fine, I think. But going back to the point, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to make 6 or 7 signings, how the bloody hell are we going to do this in June? This is something many of us... We're going to talk about Lukaku to Inter. Abhijit, let's do it now, but let me just summarise what I was going to say there. We spoke about this in January. I said that the transfer window in January was a missed opportunity. All right, we got rid of Fellaini. Well done. And it was a brilliant deal to get rid of Fellaini. High five and all that. But, fist pump. But... We should have used it more. We should have got rid of Darmian, because has Darmian played any game time for Manchester United? No. We could have got rid of Rojo as well. Has he played any game time as well? No. So we wasted that transfer window in January, because now what we've got we've got 37 days until July the 1st. 37 days. Quick maths. 5 weeks. We got 5 weeks to get 6 or 7 players in and 6 or 7 players out. You're averaging a deal. What's that? What's 37 into 12? 4. That's a deal every 4 days. That's that's like signing somebody and getting rid of a player every 4 days. And that is something I was sat there today in the nice sun in the Midlands in the UK. I was sat there having my peppermint tea, and I thought, you know what? We can all be optimistic and we can all hope this is going to be a great summer, but we ain't getting everything done by July the 1st, and we're going to have to do stuff on the tour, which we don't normally do, because it's not just signing 5 or 6 or 7 players, it's getting rid of 5 or 6, 7 players as well. We know, obviously, we've got rid of 2. There's been no work involved in Herrera and Valencia, but Matters, and if he goes, he's free, so he goes. But De Gea, if he goes, you've got to work on that. Darmian and Rojo, as much as we want rid of them, we've got to negotiate on that, so that's taking up time. Lukaku, that's going to take up time. And then you want to sign 6 or 7 players as well. I think we need to speed things up. I think we do need to speed things up. You can't speed the Daniel James deal up. I've got no issue with that. But everything else we're planning on doing, we need to start motoring, because we've got to get this done. We are so far behind everybody else. We are 6th for a reason. The reason Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has said he wants everybody in by the start of July is because he needs to work with those players. He cannot have players coming in at the end of July, a week before the season. We've got to give ourselves the best chance. We've got to get motoring. And I think time, it's not running out yet, but 5 weeks till July the 1st, and we've got to get working. We are screwed, says the music channel. Can't we get rid of the players on tour, says Hugo. Yeah, look, we can sell the players when we're on tour, of course we can. They won't announce signings till after this Sunday for the treble reunion, as it takes publicity away, says Mia Busby. Well, that could be a theory, and I hope there's something in that. What's your thoughts on Zaha, says Elias. Not for me. I will take some of your questions towards the end of the show as well. Is it true that Adrian Rabiot will replace Matic, says Nidwan Dooling? I would love it to be true. I would love it to happen. I really, really would, and I hope for that reason I would love to sign Rabiot. But to be honest with you, I would replace him with a lot of people. Silent but deadly. We're not doing a recap yet. There's too much to get through. I'll do a recap towards the end. Let's talk about Inter Milan, Lukaku. This is exciting news. This is smash a like on the video anyway. Just smash a like. But Lukaku, it sounds like it's happening. It sounds like it's happening. Everybody in. It's happening. It's happening. It's raining. Get everybody in. But everybody in. Listen to this. It really does sound like Lukaku is going to leave Manchester United. And look, I know you shouldn't celebrate people leaving. Why not? Why not? Why not? I was ecstatic when Fellaini left. I'll be ecstatic when Lukaku goes. It's not personal. If I see him in the street, I'll say, Lukaku, don't leave me hanging. Give me a 5. I'll just call him by his second name. I wouldn't go Big Rom or Romelu. Give me a high 5, Rom. No hard feelings. He probably wouldn't give me a high 5. He might give me a bunch of 5s. I don't know. But look, it's not personal with Lukaku. He's got a bad first touch. He's not a top 4 striker. I want United to be a top 4 side. I want United to eventually be a top 1 side. He ain't part of that. And at his age, I don't think Lukaku's... Is he 25? So he's got a lot of his career left. You can't build a team with Lukaku in it if you want to win things at United. He's got to go. And there's their interest. There is interest from Inter Milan. They genuinely want him. Antonio Conte is going to be the manager. They want him. And the latest today from Italian sources was that Lukaku, 30 million plus Perisic for Lukaku. Well, look, you know what? I tweeted it. I would swap Lukaku for 30 million and a box of empty Pringles. A tube of empty Pringles would do me, plus 30 million. But I'm not the owner of Manchester United. We only bought him 2 years ago for 75 million. So we got to make it look like a good deal. But £30 million plus Perisic is not a good deal. But the issue I think Inter Milan have is they've only just come out of financial fair play themselves in the last sort of 2 years. And Italian football doesn't generate that much money like the Premier League. So for them to spend 60 million on Lukaku is a lot of money. So I think Inter Milan need to do a player plus cash deal. There are a few players at Inter Milan that we could do a player plus cash deal for. There are, and but Perisic wouldn't be one. I mean, Perisic is 30 now. He was a player that I wanted when Mourinho was here. Was it 2 years ago when he was 28? And a lot of you were saying 28 is too old. You can't be doing that deal now at 30 because we're not looking. If we turned our attention to Perisic now, we're going to turn our back on whatever our targets were for wide players. That's the problem with Perisic for me. We are obviously have our targets, and whether it's Daniel James and Pepe or it's Daniel James and Lozano or Sancho or whoever, they're the sort of players that we're looking for, the players who are looking for the next step, who've got years left in the tank. If we went and had that Perisic deal, we would cross off one of those younger players, and I don't want to do that. So Perisic for me, I like Perisic. I tell you what, if we'd signed Perisic when Mourinho wanted him, I firmly wanted him. I think he would have been a really good signing for United, but it didn't happen, and that ship has sailed. So no, but let's keep negotiating with Inter Milan because I want them to have Lukaku. You're very welcome. I've always liked Inter Milan, and he'd be a great striker for you. But yeah, it's looking really exciting with that. I really would like to get rid of him. There's a lot of people in the live comments. Davian Francis says Perisic is just a BTEC or Brighton. That is a very good reason for us not to get Perisic. I did do a tweet in January when Arsenal were linked to him, and I said basically he was good a couple of years ago, but now he's nothing more than a BTEC Marcus Albrighton. And that tweet still exists. So if we signed Perisic, it would be very, very, very embarrassing. But look, a few people are saying in relation to Lukaku, it's not his fault. He's not the problem at Manchester United. There are bigger problems than him that need to be solved. And I agree to a certain extent. I do agree to a certain extent that there are other players, but hand on heart, I think we all know that Lukaku's got to go. And you can have a debate about whoever you want. You can have a debate about, we want to get rid of Sanchez, maybe even a Lingard, I don't know. But Lukaku is certainly a player that we do need to move on from Manchester United. And I'm excited. I'm excited by the fact that that it looks like we're going to do it, because he does need to go. I just don't, unless he's happy to sit on our bench, which I don't think he is. I do think he is. I do think he needs to go. Fifth Mellow Music says, which players would you swap from Inter? Well, I've heard Brozovic mentioned. I've heard João Mirio mentioned. I mean, the obvious ones for me are Skriniar and Icardi. Skriniar's just signed a new contract. Who knows what's going on with Icardi? Yeah, even, some people might even mention their goalkeeper. Is it Handanovic? I mean, if De Gea goes, he's not a bad goalkeeper. So there are options there. And Lukaku for Skriniar, straight swap, says Marek Smelsha. Yeah, it would. I mean, that's the sort of swap deal that you don't just high five to. You give a high 10 to and a double fist pump and a back of the net, because you get rid of Lukaku and you solve your centre-back issue in one deal. It would be absolutely superb. Under Sir Alex, were there any time where you wanted to sack him, or did you trust him all the way, says Sebastian Anderson? What a great question that is. There was a time when a lot of United fans wanted Sir Alex Ferguson sacked, and that was, I think it was 2005. We won the Carabao Cup. We didn't have a very good season. There was a bit of tension in Old Trafford. I remember because I used to go quite often then. And I can't remember if it's 2005 or 2006 when the season ended. I didn't want him to be sacked. I just remember just being a bit pissed off. I didn't want him to be sacked. The other time was obviously around 1990, wasn't it, when we won the FA Cup, and there was a lot of pressure on him there. But no, I never wanted Sir Alex to be sacked, to be honest with you. And it's easy to say that, and it makes you sound like a great fan. But I never uttered the words he needs to go or he needs to be sacked. I did worry about it at times whether it was getting, football was moving on, but he always came back. So he was a great manager. And we've also had another super chat from Chloe Jenkins. I watched Pedro today, Mark. He is a real number 9. Yeah, if you didn't watch Football Daily this morning, I'm really excited about Pedro. I hope that there's something in that story from Fluminense, the Brazilian 21-year-old striker. He looks good. He looks really good. But just very quickly, can I just mention something as well, because some of you might be interested in this. Nathan Collins is a player that we've been mentioned about in relation to a centre-back for Stoke. Now, I've actually not been ignorant. I've actually done a little bit of research on this. So he's only played 3 times for Stoke. He's 18 years of age. I think he's 6'4". He's obviously been recommended by Darren Fletcher, who I think was at Stoke. He's one for the future. So I don't mind us signing Nathan Collins. And I just hadn't really looked into it. I thought he was a 25-year-old centre-back who plays for Ireland. I didn't realise that he's 18 years of age. He's one for the future. So if we do sign him, he's not going into the team or anything like that. He's played 3 times for Stoke. I think Darren Fletcher's had a word with United and said this lad's got the potential to be a star of the future. And if we sign him and then loan him off somewhere, I don't have a problem with that. So let's keep an open mind with Nathan Collins. He's 18. He's not going to come in and be our new centre-back with Lindelof. No way. So just on the Nathan Collins things, if you heard about him from Stoke, that's just a little bit of a background for you on him. Eos Perez, Newcastle, and Ben Godfrey, Norwich, are realistic signings that would be great for our rebuild. And swap Bay for Wan-Bissaka. Thoughts, says T-Rex. Go get it. You know what? To be honest with you, Crystal Palace might be quite interested in an Eric Bay deal. I don't generally think that swap deals are that prominent. The Mkhitaryan Sanchez deal surprised me because they don't really happen that much anymore. But if you could move Eric Bay to Crystal Palace and get Wan-Bissaka, they might be quite happy with that, and I think we'd be happy with it. I mean, I like Eric Bay. It's clearly not going to work out, so I don't want to say I want Eric Bay to go, but I do like Eric Bay. With regards to the other 2 lads, the Perez and the Norwich lad, again, you know what? I don't think we need to go overboard, though. You can't sign the Norwich lad, the Newcastle lad, whether it's Longstaff or Perez, Nathan Collins, Daniel James. You can't be signing 4 of these players that are for the future Championship potential players. We've got to get a balance. I don't mind bringing 1 or 2 in. In fact, I'd be excited if we got Daniel James and Nathan Collins, and then we got 5, quality players, maybe a Bruno Fernandes, a Thomas Partey, a Lozano, and a De Ligt or a Koulibaly. That'd be a very good summer. You know what? Off the top of my head, if we signed Bruno Fernandes, De Ligt or Koulibaly, whichever, Lozano, Thomas Partey, Daniel James and Nathan Collins, I'd be absolutely happy with that. I would be happy with that because you've got a right sort of mix. I would be happy with that. Thoughts on Kate Balde, the next Mane, rapid as Fox, as Red J. He is very, very fast. We're not linked to him at all, but there we go. Louis Christopher says, Mark, what's going on with Rabiot? Well, he's a free agent and Manchester United have apparently been offered him. But I think there'll be a lot of people floating around Rabiot. My prediction would be Juventus. They like a free player. They've done it with Aaron Ramsey. So I think he'll go to Juventus. But the thing with Rabiot is I wouldn't get too excited about it yet because he's not going to announce what he's doing until July the 1st, like I say, because that's when his contract officially runs down. And a lot of these people will have in their contract that they, if they want bonuses, etc., that they need to wait until their contract is done, which is what we saw with Marouane Fellaini. Just very quickly, I don't want to depress people, but there was something that came out today. I think it was from the Independent about the clubs in Europe with the most debt, and we were top of the league. We are top of the league. Said we are top of the league. Manchester United were top of the league for debt, and with just over 500 million euro. In fact, I can't remember. I think Benfica were one, but it's a double-edged sword with the debt because it irritates a lot of fans because basically, if you look at it on paper, the Glazers have never put a pound in of their own money to Manchester United. They bought us on debt. We're still in debt. They've generated a lot of money. We're probably top of the league in the world for money generated, but that debt has not gone. So it's not going to impact. The thing about the debt is what I think is it's a shame we're in debt. I don't like the fact that we're top of the league for debt. But we generate so much money, it's never going to be an issue for it. I mean, if you're Liverpool and you've got 500 million euros of debt, you're in a lot of trouble. And I mean, if you're Stoke, you're finished. But from Manchester United's point of view, because of how much money we generate, it's not really an issue. We just service the debt, and it won't stop us spending £200 million this year. So that's the most important thing for us as fans. But I suppose the ideology is you just don't want to be in debt, do you? Ross Espista says, Young as captain, may as well bring Fellaini back. Mark, you say players like Isco don't fit our system. City play 4-3-3 with Silva and De Bruyne in midfield. Yeah, but you've just answered your own question, Ross. The way that City play is completely different to the way we play a 4-3-3. So United obviously could play Isco. You know, we could sign a Griezmann, we could sign a Dybala, but they don't fit into any system we've played under Ollie or the last 6 years, apart from the Diamond 4-4-2, which I don't think he really wants to do. What are these magnificent 7, says Aurora. So apparently Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants 7 signings by July the 1st. The 7 names being quoted are Harry Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, Koulibaly, James, Pepe, Idrissa Gueye and Bruno Fernandes. But the interesting thing with that is you wouldn't get Maguire and Koulibaly, you'd only get one. We heard from Adam on Get French Football News that Pepe won't come. Well, he didn't say won't. He'd be very surprised if he came to United. So, you know, you can count a few of those players off, really. But I think the thing I took from that is that it's 5 weeks to July the 1st. So how are we going to do 6 or 7 deals in 5 weeks? It's going to be such an interesting summer because I've said this before as well. Look at Fred last summer. I think we knew he signed, but it was 4 weeks before it was official. The same with Dalot. It was a couple of weeks with Dalot. With Lukaku, it was 3 or 4 weeks. With Pogba, it was nearly 2 months. So United are not a quick transfer club. We're not. And how are we going to get 5 deals done in 5 weeks when it sometimes takes us 5 weeks from the start of it being official to it actually being official? So United need to do something that they haven't done for many years, and that's be fast in the transfer market because time's running out. And I know we said it about Mourinho, and I know we've said it about Van Gaal, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, more than anybody, needs the players in place at the start of July. He needs to take these new signings on tour so they can learn the way of what he wants to do. You can't be delivering in players at the start of August. It's just not good enough. We've got to work quicker, 100%. Thoughts on Timo Werner, says Dalen Shetty. Very good player. I just think he's going to Bayern Munich. I've always thought that. Chances of us signing Mbappe, says Elliot Howarth. I would put them between 0 and never. We might get the Magnificent 7, a Walker's multi-pack. That's about it, says Gazamania. I like the name, mate. Why no one mentioned Neves from Wolves? That guy can play an impressive role in midfield, says Shaji. Yeah, a lot of you have mentioned Neves, to be honest. What about Neves and Declan Rice, says Danger Den. Donnarumma, says Waz J. There's a few things I do need to talk about as well. Debt, Bront, Mata. Yeah, look, we've got to talk about Juan Mata, haven't we? And Pogba. Yeah, so let's talk about Juan Mata. So I actually was in charge of the Twitter account for the United Stand this afternoon, and I misread something. I think it was in the Mirror that Juan Mata is about to sign a new contract for Manchester United. And of course I went off on my high horse. Why are we signing Juan Mata? I love him, but what can he do for us? That's less time for Gomez and Chong. He's 31, he's lost a yard of pace. I love the guy, but come on, he's on 140 grand a week. Why are we keeping people like that? We want to invent a new wheel and we're just using old players. It actually said Juan Mata's going to reject a new contract. So I sort of had to get off my high horse and say, yeah, well done. You know when you have a big old rant about something, you get really mad and you've misheard it, and then you're like, all right, oh yeah, I wasn't really mad in the first place. I like Juan. I've Good one, Juan. Off you go. Well done. So, hopefully there's something true in this. Hopefully Juan Mata is going to go. I know it divides opinion, and I know some of you want Juan Mata to stay, but for me, I think it's the time to go. I'd love him to go to Spain. I'd love him to go to Barcelona or Valencia and just have a little bit of retirement out back home. That's probably right for Mata. He's not a Premier League player anymore. And I know that sounds really arrogant, and maybe we can be arrogant because we've got 2 Premier League clubs in the Champions League final and 2 Champions League clubs in the Emmerdale final. But the Premier League is a different beast to La Liga and Serie A if you watch it. It's quick, it's physical, it's not always as pleasing on the eye because of that. A lot of it is just very, very quick. And Juan Mata, he doesn't suit it anymore. Last season was a real eye-opener to that. He's lost another yard of pace. He wasn't the quickest anyway. And he had a lot of bad performances last season for Manchester United. So I think Juan Mata going would be a positive for many reasons. 1, I think he deserves to go and play back home in Spain. 2, he's quite expensive. I think it's 140 grand a week. And 3, he is taking up a spot in that squad where we can improve either through the youth or signing another player. And that is the point. I'm nearly giving you the bird there. Let's change 3 to that finger. But that's the point that matters to me the most, is that he is taking up a squad in the team that if we're trying to change and we want to build something, because we're not winning the league next year, we're trying to build something. What are you building with Juan Mata? Like, what are you building with him? He can only give you another year anyway. We're not winning the league next year. He's not a leader. He's not, he's not like he's there to coach Gomez or anything like that. That's not what Mata's all about. We haven't got players like that. People live in this myth world that these senior players are going to coach the younger players. Well, why haven't they done it before? So for me, that is it. Mata, good, go, love the guy, best wishes. But that's a real positive that we move a player out the squad, and then it becomes exciting because do you sign a player, do you promote a player? So yeah, I would be happy with that. De Gea must go also, says Keenbach. I do not get this with De Gea at all. I do not. I saw this today, and I don't know why I'm going Scottish, but I saw this today on Talk Sport, probably because it was Jim White, sure, I don't know. But Eamon Holmes, who is a Manchester United fan and presents daytime TV, and he basically said, I want De Gea to go. I don't want our club to be held to ransom, which I find absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious, because this is a guy who for 6 years has been our best player. Not Eamon Holmes. That would be hideous. I imagine him in goal. But David De Gea has been our best player at Manchester United for the last 6 years. He deserves a lot better. He has been one of the best goalkeepers. I think he's been the best goalkeeper in the world for the last 6 years. Last season, not so much, but certainly brilliant player for us. If he wants 350 grand a week, he should get it because he knows his value. But these people who say, oh, get out of my club if you're holding us to ransom. Did you just listen to what I said 10 minutes ago about how much debt we're in? We're owned by people who hold us to ransom. They've never put a pound of their own money in, and they own Manchester United. So if that's okay, what are you moaning about David De Gea holding you to ransom? He's put 6 years in as our best player, and he wants a contract that befits him. If we don't pay it and he goes, fine. But all this, I want to get rid of De Gea because he wants to be paid for what he's done over the last few years, is ridiculous. And I'll tell you what, have a look at your history at Manchester United. Wayne Rooney did it. Roy Keane did it. I remember Roy Keane doing it. I absolutely love Roy Keane. He said, I'm off, I'm going to go to Juventus. And then around Christmas time, United offered him a better contract and he stayed because he knew his worth. He knew his worth. He was like, I'm off. The contract you're giving me, not good enough. I'm off. Such and such will give me a better one. And United went back with a better contract. So this isn't a new thing. This isn't modern footballers being greedy. This is footballers knowing their value. And the point is, and it's the same point with Herrera, you can want De Gea to go, but I think it's a futile argument to say, let De Gea go. We're not paying him that money. What money? It's not your money. So what are you moaning about? It doesn't impact on you at all. Do you want De Gea to stay here because he's a brilliant goalkeeper, or do you want him to go because you think we can get a better goalkeeper? What he wants in wages is actually irrelevant, because I tell you what, United either pay it or they don't. And if they don't, PSG will pay it. So it's not like he's asking for something that's unrealistic. There are clubs out there that will pay it. So I would like De Gea to stay. I don't think he will, though. After all that, I don't necessarily think he will. But one player I do think will stay is Paul Pogba. I think Paul Pogba's going to stay. And I don't know where you think about what you lot all think about that, but I do think Paul Pogba's going to stay. Rumours about Perisic and a Lukaku swap. Thoughts as Ryan FDW. He's obviously not watched the show from the start. Very, very quickly, Very excited that Lukaku's going to go. It's sounding very positive. I think with Lukaku, I had a funny feeling he was going to stay. I thought he'd be here next season. I thought the rumours were he'd go, but I didn't think he would. But it's all coming to fruition. Him basically being unhappy, hinting about a move to Italy for the last 6 months. Inter definitely want him. Let's get the deal done. But I don't want Perisic. As I said, the problem with Perisic is if we decide that's a good deal, it means we cross off the list whoever the winger was that we wanted. And that winger we want will be somebody a lot younger with an upward graph. Whereas Perisic is very much on the downward graph now. Good player, but it's 2 years too late. So Pogba, I think Pogba will stay. Let me just explain why. Real Madrid are prioritising quite a few signings, and I don't think they can afford Paul Pogba. And I think Zidane wants Pogba, and I think Pogba wants Real Madrid, but I don't think it's going to happen because I just don't think that they've got the financial power to do it, and I don't think it makes sense for Real Madrid to do it. The only thing that makes me think it will happen is I was stunned when Zinedine Zidane went back to Real Madrid because he wins 3 Champions Leagues back to back. He then leaves, and then it goes to really bad at Real Madrid, and then suddenly he goes back. And I think the only reason you go back somewhere is if you are offered real big incentive. And I would imagine part of that conversation was, we'll give you 300, 400 million. We'll get you this player and that player. So that's the only thing that makes me think it could happen. But the problem Real Madrid have got is that Pogba's wages currently are more than they want to pay. And the fee they're going to have to pay for him is more than they want to pay. And much like I think the issue Barcelona are having with Griezmann in the dressing room, I think that Real Madrid are like, well, and Real Madrid fans are like, well, yeah, what about Pogba? So I think Pogba will end up staying at United, not because he necessarily wants to, not because Real Madrid don't want him, but I just don't think it's going to happen because financially we're in a very strong position. I suppose United could twist it on its head and say, look, do we really want to keep a player that doesn't want to be here? We'll let him go if he gives us this, this and this, but as long as it doesn't involve Bale. Welcome to Edward Raw, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club, and welcome to Friedman 220. 2 members of the United Stand Members Club. Remember, you can do that by clicking Remember Member. Rubbish. But you can do that by clicking the join button. You get a little badge next to your name, which will change every month that you're a member, like Savage Black there. He says, is it possible to buy a player and sell the same player in the same transfer window? No. I don't think it is. It's certainly not possible on Football Manager and FIFA. Not that I live my life off that, but no, I don't think it is. And also, I don't know who would you be thinking of? So we sign a player in this transfer window and then sell them. I suppose it's a bit like selling second-hand cars. You could buy them cheap and sell them high, but no, I don't think so. Lukaku Skriniar swap would be sexual, Son Goku. It would be amazing. Pep to Juventus thoughts as best gamer. Very quickly, I'm not too sure whether he will go, but Pep goes to a club where it's easy to win the league and doesn't win the Champions League. That's perfect for him, isn't it? So, it wouldn't surprise me. It would make me laugh, but it would only make me laugh from the point of view that that's Man City for you. You can win all these titles and you can spend all this money, but you've got no soul and no attachment. Players and managers will go at the drop of a hat. Don't think we will make 5 signings, let alone 7, says Rafael Segurdis. Let's take some of your questions. Look, I think we need to make 5 signings. Minimum, we do need to make 5 signings. I was thinking today, though, that with regards to players going out the door, we know Herrera's gone, we know Valencia's gone, we think Mata's going to go, we hope Lukaku's going to go, Darmian Rojo. That's 6. As much as I would like to see Sanchez go and a couple of others go, like Matic, maybe even Lingard at the moment. He really is irritating me. I don't know about you lot, but Lingard is really irritating me. Just with his social media stuff, really, and his lack of ability, but he still thinks he can be the big I am on social media, mate. I just feel like, just shut up. You're really irritating me. And if we sold you, I really wouldn't be bothered. And I never thought I'd say that about Lingard, but we're not going to sell Lingard anyway. But yeah, 6 players there. Darmian, Rojo, Herrera, Valencia, Mata, Lukaku. If we get rid of 6 players like that, you've got to put your hands up and say that's a good summer for United. I mean, I know we didn't want Herrera to go, but 6 first-team players gone, it's a good start. And we need to sign 10 and sell 10, but we're not going to do that. So if we sign 6 and sell 6, there's still going to be people left here that we don't want, but it's still a good start, isn't it? If they get rid of the Bale wage, then possible, says Babadon. Yep. And new member, welcome to Detalista Doc. Welcome, pal. And yeah, Lingard is pretty shit, says Just Jackler. He's just irritating me. I think on his day he's a good squad player, but he just really irritates me. Even with the launch of the United kit, he's there with Pogba, and I'm like, why Jesse Lingard got such a high profile at Manchester United? I mean, I know he's sort of in with the youth and all that lot, so it makes him marketable. But as a footballer, he's actually bang average. So it just irritates me when I see him, as one of the key advertisers of the kit every year. And I think it's just bad marketing, to be honest. I'd rather see Lindelof in it. I don't want to see Lingard in it. But hopefully next season he can have a good season and work his way back. We are going to sign De Ligt for about 100 million. United will go over Barcelona's 70 million bid, says Kamar Lockhart. I don't think it's about going over Barcelona's bid. I think it's about the package that we're going to give De Ligt. I don't think we need to spend more than, if Barcelona are offering 70 million for De Ligt, we offer 70 million. It's not about that. It's about the package. It's about the wages. And to be honest with you, if there's any truth in this story about De Ligt and he signs for Barcelona, I'll have even more respect for him than I've got now, because it will show that he's not coming here for money. He's going to the club that he wants to go to. So, begrudgingly, I would respect him for that. If he comes to United, great, because he's going to have, he's not just going to come to us for the money. He will want to come here for the challenge as well. But if he goes for less money if he goes to Barcelona on less money than we're offering him, it just shows that, he is a class lad, and which is why, as I said on the video I did at lunchtime, if you've not seen it, about De Ligt, where he fit in, what his strengths are, it's only 5 minutes. Give it a watch after this. He'd be the signing of the summer for me. He really, really would. I think he'd be absolutely fantastic. I'm wearing the short-sleeved United Stand FC top today, and if I spin around a bit, I'm wearing a number 10. There we go. You can get numbers on the back of these shirts as well. So if you want to get United Stand FC tops for the summer, we've got polos as well. You can get this in black. It's a lovely kit, and the link's in the video description. So please do buy it, because then we can design another one and get even more stuff up out there. So that would be great. Got a game on Saturday as well. We're down to the bones, but we are playing a game. Weddings and holidays is decimating the squad, but I'll be there. I'll be on the touchline. There was some. I mean, somebody just said there, just sell Jay Lingard and his clothing range. You know what? There was some talk of Lingard going. I think it would be a brilliant message from the club to do it. I really do. I think it would send a massive message out that just because you come through the youth setup and you're Manc born and bred, you're off, mate. I think it would be a very stern, strong message of a new page at Manchester United. I just don't think it will happen. Rashford is all hype, says Kazim Akhtar. I think Rashford's a talent. I think Rashford's a talent. And I think he deserves all the criticism at the moment. And I don't think any player deserves it to be going. The reality is with United players, whether it's Pogba, Rashford, Matic, Luke Shaw, Lindelof, whoever it is that you're pissed off with, and you might be fed up with all of them, they totally deserve it. It doesn't need to stop. You don't need to stop saying, I don't rate Rashford, Lingard or Pogba at all. It's still very raw. The season's not only just over. The only way they can earn that respect and trust back is by doing it on the football pitch, and that's not going to happen till August. So for the moment, they need to just stay quiet, get a holiday, get a break. And yeah, they still do irritate a lot of fans, and that's natural. There's nothing to worry about with that. Lukaku for 40 million plus Politano, would you take, says Geordie T. There are options. And I think the most important thing is that we don't scare Inter Milan off. We can't scare them off. Steve Blair has made a contribution. Do you take anything away from Pogba tapping the United badge in the new promo? Seems a strange choice for someone wanting to leave. I don't think Pogba's going to leave. I don't think he will leave. I think he wants to go to Real Madrid. I don't think he wants to get out of Manchester United at any cost. I do think he wants to go to Real Madrid because he wants to go and play with Zidane. But I don't think he's going to go. And I just hope that if Pogba stays, we can provide players around him in that midfield and in front of him that are better than what we've got. Because what I don't want next season is the same old excuse, oh, Pogba, he needs better players around him. Let's provide those better players and see if we get a better Pogba. Because that Pogba we had for 2 months was amazing. If you can get that for 8 months, we're happy. Stephen Balrud says, we need to dominate more at Old Trafford. Verratti type player. You know what, Stephen? There are certain things that I sort of look at every week or so. If I've got an hour, I'll just start looking at players that are not in the news. I was looking at Verratti the other day. There is absolutely no talk of Verratti wanting to leave, get a new contract. There's just nothing. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but there's just nothing about Verratti. So all I can take from that is he's probably very happy at PSG, which is unfortunate because if you watch my FIFA career mode, which I'll do tomorrow at 1:30, I have Verratti in my midfield. He'd just be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Is there any news on Koulibaly, says Kieran McCrory. Koulibaly has got a game at the week on Friday, tomorrow night. I think it's the last Serie A fixtures tomorrow. So I would imagine with Koulibaly, if anything's going to happen, it will sort of happen over the next couple of weeks. But remember, it is the African Nations Cup as well. So it's also Copa America. So there are things going on. And the thing with Koulibaly is Napoli don't want to sell at the moment. So United are going to have to go in with a big bid. But what you need is Koulibaly to tell Napoli what he wants to do. If Koulibaly says, look, I've been here long enough, I want to go, that's when United will move in. But you've got this De Ligt story at the moment, and I think we're all excited by that. And to be honest with you, I look, if we got Koulibaly or De Ligt, happy days, party time. And I'd prefer De Ligt because of his age. So let's just see what happens. I mean, if we get one of those two, it would be sensational. If we don't get one of those two, I think that's going to be the reality, to be honest. But I would love to get both of them. Zon Goku says, what are your ideal signings? Realistic. I want to get Bruno Fernandes because I think he will free up if Pogba stays him with the creativity. I want to get Thomas Partey. I think he'd be a brilliant midfielder for us. I want to get either Koulibaly or De Ligt. I want to get Lozano or Pepe or Sancho on the right. I'm not too fussed about a right back. I'd like to bring Thomas Meunier in to work alongside Delo. I'm not actually that bothered if we get Wan-Bissaka or not. If we do, great, but it's not an obsession of mine. I'd like to bring in another midfielder. I mean, Bruno Fernandes is more of an attacking midfielder, so I would like to get Partey in, and I'd like to bring in a Declan Rice, someone like that. I would, somebody with who's going to be here for years. That would be good as well. So those sort of signings are what I'd look for. If Lukaku goes, would I bring a striker in? I think if we got Bruno Fernandes, we don't necessarily need to do that because you're still going to have Greenwood, Lingard, Rashford, Martial, Chong. So I think I'd just remove Lukaku and I probably wouldn't replace him. If we can get rid of Sanchez, I would bring another striker in, and I really like the look of that Pedro that we were talking about on Transfer Daily this morning. If you didn't see that, that sort of striker would be good. I'm not really interested in that Moussa Dembele from is it Lyon? I don't think he's a massive improvement on what we've got, to be honest with you. We need Ollie out, says Dawn. No, we don't. No, we don't. Do you think the Dybala rumour is true, says Ali Arwen? Well, I spoke about that on Transfer Daily this morning, and there's a lot going on with Dybala. I hope it's not true. And also, I think because Juventus are going to get a new manager, maybe he will end up staying. So I like Dybala. I just don't think it's the right time. Jack Richards says the United stand kit is better than the new United kit. It is nice. It is not. I think the United stand kit is a little bit more retro. I do like the new United kit. I do like the new United kit. Obviously, we gave that one away last week, so I did have my hands on one. I'm not going to buy one because at the moment, I'm just a little bit unsure about buying United stuff. But it is a nice kit, the new one. But support United Stand FC. That's what the summer's all about. Link in the video description. It is a nice kit. 1 year ago, when asked, Matas de Ligt said that when he could choose, he wanted to go to the Premier League. Ajax fan, says Tim Bellecamp. As I said before, Van der Sar is at Ajax. Ajax will have a lot of respect for the Premier League. Sorry, de Ligt and Dutch players have a lot of respect for the Premier League. They will know that Manchester United are a massive club. Moving from Ajax to Manchester United would be a big deal. A very big deal for De Ligt. But then you can flip it the other way and say, who's his defensive partner? Daley Blind. Does he have a positive experience of United, or would he say you should go to Barcelona, mate, because United's a bit of a mess? On top of that, whilst the Dutch do like the Premier League, Ajax players do have a very good connection with Barcelona. So for every positive, you can find a negative to that deal. Who do you think in the comment section think of Ziyech? Says Swedish and English Meatballs. What do you think about Carlos Vela? Says Blazing Spirit. I don't think he'd be a player that would be coming to United. Heard that Kimmich is linked to United. Says Best Gamer. He's my right back at FIFA as well. I wouldn't say no to that. Apparently Cancelo, the player I thought would be a decent sign of United, is going to go to Man City. I just, Man City and right backs, they just don't seem to have any problems chucking 60 million at right backs. Manchester United are leaning heavily on their relationship with Edwin van der Sar whilst negotiating with Ajax. Man United have a credible chance of signing De Ligt. That's from Nemerus. I hope so, mate. I hope so. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. I'll tell you what, I love the season when all the games are on. But the summer transfer window, it is absolutely exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. And the time flies. There's just so much to talk about. Absolutely so much to talk about. I love the shows. Thanks everyone who's getting involved in the comments section. I love the early squad who get here early and start talking in the live comments, because we always open up the stream an hour before I go live, so you can get in the live comments, be part of the early squad. I'm always keeping my eye on it. And yeah, I love the shows are absolutely fantastic. And obviously, if you can't watch live, get your comments in. But the United Stand Army, as I call it in the summer is a great place. It's a unique place. And so thanks everybody who's watching and get involved. Remember to subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. Get your notifications on. 7 o'clock every morning, Monday to Friday. You get Transfer Daily. I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Please do drop a like on the video. And if you didn't watch the video on Delit that I did at lunchtime, it's literally 5 minutes long. It's more of a profile of what he is, what he brings to United, what his strengths and weaknesses are. Give it a watch. It's on the homepage. Thanks for watching. Oh, we've got Gregor P. United to sign Dembele or Malcolm if Barca spend big. I don't think we'll be picking up any Barcelona players, to be honest, Gregor. And I wouldn't really want us to. They've both pretty much flopped, haven't they? Thanks, everyone, for watching. Smash a like and go and watch that video on Delit. Oh, United Stand FC tops. Link in the video description. For the summer.